Hello, everyone. Before we start this week's episode of Slightly Average Guys, we want to tell you about a special event. Friday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. Arizona time, we're going to do a Slightly Average Guys drinking fest. We're going to be hanging out, playing games, drinking, and there might even be some special guests, so please make sure you join us. This isn't going to be a show format, it's just to come out and hang. So come join us live Friday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. Arizona time. We hope that you enjoy this episode of Slightly Average Guys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Slightly Average Guys podcast. We appreciate you joining, as always, whether you're watching live or whether you're listening through the, I guess the radio or whatever platform.
Let's just say the interwebs, because I just like saying interwebs. I don't know why.
Interwebs.
Yeah. Is that like a new thing? That the interwebs is on the line. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, on the line.
On the
On the line.
Yeah, it's not online. It's on the line.
On the line. So wherever you're at, we appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you listening in. Stay tuned. It's been a while since we've been live, but we appreciate you coming back here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on every type of platform. You can see our individual tags there below as well if you're watching us live. So go ahead and follow us individually as well to check out what's happening around the Slightly Average Guys crew. Thanks for joining.
All right. Well, let's jump right into some topics this week. And one of the ones that I'd like to talk about is really relevant to both of you. Because, Ryan, you've been to so many weddings recently that I think, essentially you should now become a coordinator of weddings for the male side. And then Andy just recently went to one. And he's got a little bit of an etiquette issue. Yeah, it could be a rant. I'm gonna call it etiquette issue on why wedding etiquette is the way that it is. So, go ahead, Andy, and take it away on what your rant is.
Yeah, what do you got here?
So my brother-in-law got married last Tuesday, because why not? Tuesday at like 3:30, even better. So young, definitely can't hate on him for trying to save money. Okay. So trying to get there at 3:30, it was like the farthest northeast I have gone in Mesa ever. Like, I don't know if it was Apache Junction, if it was, I don't know where we were at, but it was this really, really pretty venue. So leading up to it, the conversation of, I have to dress up. Well, dress up is subjective. I have a polo on, to be dressy, right? So my wife and I have this mini argument about you have to dress up. I don't want to do this the day of or the last minute. You just got to dress up. That's it. Like, everybody, all the girls dressing up, we're going to take photos. I'm like, okay, fine. So the day of the wedding comes and she says, what are you wearing? Tell me to dress up. I'm dressing up. I got khakis and I got a polo. She looks at my pants. She's like, ugh, what? What's wrong with them? They're khaki pants, right? This is business casual. I'm going to the wedding. I'm not going to be honored at some sort of gala for some like humanitarian award where I need a tuxedo. I don't need that. So she's like, whatever, fine. So then it came to my shoes and I'm like, I'm just gonna throw my Vans on. I got solid color Vans. It's fine. Plus they're comfortable. And, it's one thing to dress up from a work standpoint. I've had a job where I had to dress business casuals, khakis and pants, or khakis and polo, and, you had to wear some type of dress shoe. And I've also had the complete opposite, where it's like show up and whatever, and I wear sweats to work. So it's, I've had the extremes on both sides. So we have this argument about shoes, and I'm just like, whatever, fine. So we end up going, I show up, and in the wedding party is I guess they're nieces, the nephews from sister-in-law's family. All the little nephews are in Converse shoes. And I'm like, the first thing I notice, right? And I'm like, hey, are you kidding me? Now they're 12, 10 years old, whatever. The little sister's full-on dress, fine. She's cute. She looks great. She's like 8. Then here comes, so my wife has 2 sisters, an older, a younger, and then the younger brother. So then here comes the older sister's husband in a polo and jeans and Vans. And I'm just like, come on, are you freaking kidding me? And she's like, well, I wanted to take nice pictures. And I'm like, where in the history of wedding photos are we as guests? We're not in the wedding party. we as guests, somebody's going to look at our photos and be like, "Oh, I can't believe you wore flip-flops," or "I can't believe you wore some sort of ridiculous shoe option." Well, as the night, so we show up. My oldest daughter is actually in a dress, which is very hard to actually get her to dress up, and she wore like nice shoes. We show up, she sees the exact same thing I do, and she's like, "Nope." Turns around, goes to the car, and gets her Crocs on. So I'm not even this bad. And my daughter's in a black dress,
wait
and
a
she
minute.
puts white Crocs on.
I was gonna say, like, what was she wearing is gonna be my question, because just going.
Oh, they did.
I have a hatred for
They didn't go together. Well, yeah, I haven't purchased them. There's a part of me that wants to, just as a dad, from the like embarrassing standpoint. But she puts on her white Crocs. They don't look good. So my problem here is I'm not in the wedding. Okay, I've been in weddings. Obviously, I got married. We didn't have a wedding. We went to the courthouse. But I've been a best man, and I've just been in the wedding line. Obviously, we were dressed up for both of those. But as a guest, I'm not showing up in sweatpants and flip-flops and like a wife beater that's stained from drinking too many 40s. But I'm also just in the wedding party, or I'm not in the wedding party, I'm just a guest. So why is there this, unwritten rule that I have to dress up, right? I'm there to honor, it's family. I'm there to support, new person coming in. I can relate because we're outsiders, right? We married into the family.
You're over there in the corner whispering to him, going, "Get out now.
Dude, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into." But I don't like that I have to dress up to go and sit there. So another thing is like, I want to be comfortable because weddings are forever. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to go and sit there for 3 or 4 hours. I think we left at almost 9:00. So I didn't get there until probably 4. So I was there for a good 5 hours. And it's not that it was uncomfortable, but again, I'm not going to dress up into this nonsense for no reason. I'm not in any photos. I'm not in the party. Like, I'm not going to be on someone's wall for the next 30 to 40 years. Right? Who cares?
Jeez, I hope it's not
wear
on the wall that long.
Me too. Well, if it's not, then they're getting divorced. You know what I'm saying? So it's just frustrating that, like, where was it ever decided that you have to wear, certain outfits to show up to a wedding as just purely a guest, especially if we weren't family and we were just friends. I would just show up in like jeans and a polo and something comfortable, especially here as it gets hotter and people are, getting married through the summer. I'm not trying to, be all fancy and any of that nonsense. That's silly. So it was very frustrating that whole night. And I ultimately ended up changing my shoes. I didn't tell my wife. I snuck off to the car and I changed my shoes. She never noticed, which made me think I could probably have changed my pants and she probably wouldn't have noticed either. So very frustrating.
Ryan, where are you at on this rant of why should, I get it if you, like Andy's saying, if you're in the wedding, that's a different, or direct family, right? Like parents, grandparents, like, all right, whatever. But you're not even the direct, connection with everybody. So I get what he's saying. What's your take on it?
I can see both sides. The one word that comes to mind is a ceremony, right? The whole thing, it's a ceremony. Mm-hmm. There's many ceremonies throughout life, right? Graduation ceremonies. I can't really name them all, right? But there's many different types of ceremonies throughout life, and guess what each one of those represent? A dressed up community coming together, I guess, right? And you're all dressed up, for the most part. But
unless you're hillbillies, if you're hillbillies, it's just like, woo, who's got the best camo?
Unless you're hillbillies,
you might put on your good overalls. That might,
But and here's my other thing. If you're it's a ceremony. Technically, the word ceremony causes for a little bit more casual, dress like stuff. But here's my thing. If I'm going to someone's wedding where I don't know anybody and they're going to be judging the hell out of me because I'm with Corey, right? And she's introduced me to everybody. You're damn right. I'm going to be looking real good, right? You're damn right. I'm going to be looking my best. But if I'm just going to like a wedding with my friends and I'm just a guest and maybe Corey's coming, maybe she's not coming, I'm totally in agreement. Like probably not jeans, but maybe like golf slacks. Golf slacks are like comfy slacks, essentially, right? Like the new 4-way stretch technology and all that good stuff. But I could totally see you wearing that.
4-way stretch, technology and
it's everywhere. Look on Instagram. This stuff's all over the place.
Like, hey, pretend that never mind. I was gonna do something inappropriate.
But yeah, I mean, if it's just family and friends and you don't have anybody to impress or anything like that, wear whatever the heck you want in a reasonable manner. Polo and a golf look like you're going golfing. I don't think there's any problem with that.
So my one thing that stood out is the idea of a ceremony, and I agree. So I've had 2 children. Well, I've made 2 children. I haven't had them. Clear that up. So in that sense, that's a ceremony because childbirth is like this big deal, right? So I would love to go back in time and actually dress up, tuxedo, like full on. Hey, baby's coming. We're ready. Because that's probably like one of the biggest deals that you'll have in your life that you should dress up for. But nobody typically does that. So I would throw out some advice to anybody that's about to have a baby. Dress it up. Go in like your best clothes to the dads. Get ready for the photos and the pictures. Your wife might hate you for it, but it'll be amazing.
And I never ever even thought of that, mostly because I didn't want to die. There's a whole story about my father and having, I think it was my sister. I don't think it was me, but my doing stupid shit at the the hospital. And it was my dad was at work. He got called, hey, you're having the kids. So he drove and he's already got his lunch pail. So he's going in. They don't let the woman eat, because you can't during that whole entire thing. So he's over there eating a sandwich, and he's got like these ice chips that the hospital gives you to feed the gal. And my mom's like, you're really eating the sandwich? Are you really eating the sandwich? She's like, you want some ice chips? She's like, you can take those ice chips and shove them right up your neck.
You did a nice job on the buttons there.
So
That's
anyway,
awesome.
So I could only imagine what my interaction would be if I would have shown up in like a full tuxedo.
Oh.
For the baby. I should have, because it was a boy too. It was
but let me excuse me, I'm having a terrible time in my throat. Let me switch it up a little bit. Let me think a little bit differently. If this is, and maybe this might be a little bit, it might depend on who I'm asking, but Andy, I'm just going to ask you anyways, right? So if it's your wedding and you invite your friends, and you're sitting up there, you're holding the hands, you're about to say I do, and you're looking out into the audience, what do you want to see?
So to me, if it's just people in attendance, it doesn't matter, because the biggest effort and the meaningful thing to me is that you're there to support what I'm doing and my new family, that you're there. I don't care what you're wearing. It doesn't matter, right? Now, I guess I shouldn't say I don't care. Like if people showed up in bathing suits and all that, I would probably be like, really? So I mean,
there's a line that gets drawn, right? You're not going to show up like Ryan said in a wife beater and something hillbilly, whatever, and you're not going to show up in a bathing suit, right? No. You're going to at least wear shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, and I would also expect that people would dress weather accordingly or seasonal accordingly, right? Like if I got married in July, I would expect that you would show up. It's hot as you know what outside, and you want to be comfortable. And that you even made the trek to go sit outside with us for that little component that we're going to do the whole ceremony and then go inside. To me, it wouldn't matter. I'm more of like you're here, you're supporting me, and I appreciate that you've taken the time to do that.
I don't think there's any situation where you cannot go dress in a golf outfit.
That's
hot outside,
true.
Shorts and a polo. Formal, a little bit more formal, slacks, golf slacks, right? Because they're more comfortable, and a polo. You're done. You can go anywhere with that. and maybe, not everybody goes to church, right? But some of this stuff you can just relate to church attire, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Do I wear t-shirts to church? Yeah, absolutely. Do sometimes I wear polos or like short sleeve button ups? Yeah, absolutely. Just like whatever you can dress as fancy as you want to church, and you can dress as not fancy as you want to church. But do you dress like a hillbilly, and do you wear, booty shorts and all this other stuff? No.
I mean,
so I could say a lot of the stuff goes to what kind of attire is it? It's church attire, dude.
Sure.
I mean, I would just like to point out that this
That's
thing right here. I mean, if
amazing.
we're really going to talk about,
Oh God.
attire that we think is appropriate, for the time of year, the summertime. By the way, I just found this by searching ridiculous golf outfits, and this is the very first thing that popped up.
That is not a golf outfit. They will not allow you on the course.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever, but I feel like I also want it.
Yeah, that's a must-have right there.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's a Macho Man like Randy Savage type of thing.
See, now I would do so. Now that's classy.
Yeah.
That's
no.
classy.
So I'm so this is actually a true story. It wasn't this color, but I'm gonna share, Ryan, just a snippet and go to the chat here. Okay. I don't know how to share it otherwise.
Send it to me.
But this is legitimate. It wasn't this color. It was like had some hints of green and had some hints of blue.
Nice.
But this is no joke. What my dad and his friends bought one of their good friends. So they every Friday or multiple times a week, they would go golfing with the same group of four, the same group. So they'd always give each other like weird gifts and stuff. It's like a good group of friends, right? Guy friends. So they literally bought him this suit, and he wore it to the to go golfing multiple times. I would love to do that. I want to do that so bad.
Speaking of golfing, I had a work event up north in Flagstaff, and there was golfing, and I'm like, guys, I've golfed once in like the last 20 years. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta golf, it'll be totally fun, it won't be bad at all, like you gotta totally do it. It's a scrimmage, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. I played, I was so epically horrible, like by hole 3, like I was only gonna putt. Like that's where we were with it. There was no way that I was gonna keep pushing it and trying to be more than what it was. Like it was bad. It was so bad, guys. I hit one of the balls and like, let me step back. Person in front of me hit a ball and like it goes like maybe 40 feet. And everybody's like, see, Ryan, it's like the bar's pretty roll. You can hit it better than that. I was like, why you got to put that pressure on me? Like, why you got to do that to me? Like, it would have totally been fine. Like I had no problem at all. And next thing you know, you had to say that. Yeah, they said that. And I hit that bitch like 4 feet. Like that's how bad it was. Like
the first hole is always the worst every single time. I know Joke did the same thing. I'm sitting there looking pretty, about ready to hit my lowest score ever on the first hole, right? And I do the same thing. I literally took 5 steps to my ball, picked it up, and hit it again off the tee. I said, I'm not counting that. The first hole's the worst.
So you said it was a scrimmage. Did you mean it was a scramble?
Scramble. That's what I meant. See, this is like
scrimmage.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
Oh damn! Yes.
That's
See,
hilarious.
this is how ridiculous it is. I don't even know what the hell is going on, but
we were just practicing. It was a scrimmage.
It was bad. That's what I could say. But so I don't know if he watches the show. I don't think they do. But this one guy who's our main project manager has like the most ridiculous calves I've ever seen in my entire life. And people make fun of him every once in a while for it. So he's like starts getting into this and starts golfing, right? So he's getting up to golf and he's standing there. We get through like 4 holes and somebody's like, hey man, it looks like you have calf implants. Do you have calf implants? Like legitimate question to him. Like, do you have calf implants? He's like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I do. He's like, they're totally calf implants. Don't you really like them? He was joking. Okay. But dude, I'm not kidding you that his, not the whole calf. It's not like, Ryan, like Dave Fogel, like he's got big calves.
Oh my God.
But the thing is big from like where his ankle starts all the way out. It's like an even, nice triangle. This guy, it's like thin, and then it's like a bicep. I got no biceps. I don't know why I just put them there. Flattest.
It's like, oh wait, there's nothing there.
Oh, hang on. There we go.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like
you want to talk about real world calves? You just need to look at Jim Nobles and Anthony Nobles. Oh my God, their calves are like freaking dinosaur calves, and I don't even know what I mean by that, but like they're huge, and they're not huge as in like fat and ugly looking.
It's like
They're
so
like
muscular.
toned and muscular, and they can move every single muscle within their calf just by twisting their toes. I'm just like, it's insane. I love them. They're like sexy.
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's weird.
Okay.
It's got weird.
I had nice calves coming out of high school, mostly because I was a marching band, which I know I'm a nerd. That's all right. But I was carrying around a 70, 80-pound drum for 4 to 8 hours every single day. And you like are on the balls of your feet. So like I had huge calves. I ended up screwing up my shoulder because I went toe to toe with one of the football team's linebackers on seeing who could use more weight on the calf machine and actually do it. Because I legitimately, I weighed 87 pounds. This guy weighs 212 standing next to me. Like, he's like, whatever. He's like, you can't do it. The machine maxes out at 800 pounds. Like, that's where the bars, that you can only stack weight out so far. It maxed out at that. Like, and we just figured out a way that we just keep, jamming more and more and more things onto the freaking where you're supposed to have your hands. So like we get like well over like 1,000 pounds. I think we're at like 1,100, and like I'm like, this is too sketch. I don't want to put anything on. I beat the guy, but when I was doing it, because you have to stand up into it and then you're on your calves and you can lift up and down, right? Like I was pulling so hard on the hand thing because it was excruciating. Like I screwed something up in my shoulder doing it. So stupid injury story. That's where it went. But that guy got his ass beat.
Colin goes, like his knees swallowed a grapefruit. What? I'm just like, I took those words and I started picturing it in my head. I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like if you think of a snake, right, that ate like a honeydew melon. Right. A whole honeydew.
Oh gosh. At this point, we're just way off topic.
I mean, we're rounding it because here's what actually topic 2 is. Okay. I want to talk about food for a minute. We've talked about food in multiple different instances, but I want to talk about, I'm going to call them food sins. Okay. Like a food sin.
I just had one today.
Yeah. Like a food sin is like, you're not really supposed to have fish and cheese, right? Like that's like something that's just a gigantic no-no that you're not supposed to do. Ryan, you seem to have something with a burrito, okay? On getting it served, that was a sin for how a burrito got given to you.
Oh my, I am so glad you brought this up because I totally forgot about it. And if you can see my face right now, I am just in awe. I literally left this restaurant a review, close, no, kind of close, not close, Colin. I literally left this restaurant a review and said, anyways, here's the story. I got a burrito, and there's 2 different types of sauce that you can serve with burritos, and I'm okay with either one, but you have to have the choice. You don't just serve it with red sauce. You serve it with green or red sauce. Any burrito making restaurant knows that you serve it with red or green sauce, and you ask them.
Any decent human being knows this.
Any decent human being will give you the option. So they serve it to me with red sauce.
I'm pretty sure every place that I've gone to that's even a breakfast joint is like, hey, you can get the regular like normal chip salsa, or you can get pico. They still give you 2 options.
Yeah, but here I'm saying, so they give it to me with red sauce, right? And I'm like, okay, I eat it with red sauce, and I'm like, this is what it's missing. Green sauce, duh, light bulb. Hey, waiter, waitress, can I please have some green sauce with this burrito, please, since I have 3/4 of it left? We don't serve green sauce. So you gave me a burrito and you don't serve green sauce? Yes. Okay. And I literally left him a review. I'm going to pull up in the interim. You guys can ask questions, but I'm going to pull up this review.
Go ahead, Andy.
I got a couple questions. Okay. So one, I thought you meant like you're talking serving burritos with this type of salsa or that. I'm thinking on top, but you're just saying as an accompaniment to the side so you could dip or pour.
Yes, so
not like covered.
Yes, handheld burrito. I'm a handheld burrito. It's not a wet burrito, right? You wet burrito, you eat fork.
Okay.
I'm talking like pour it on top. Yep.
Okay, cool. So as you're telling me this, I'm picturing in my head the scene from Step Brothers where they're at the wedding and he's like, I didn't want salmon. I said it 4 times. And he like throws the plate and like gets up and walks away as your response to them telling you they don't have green salsa, which I think would have been fantastic.
Here, and it's not as funny as I thought, but here is legitimately word for word my review. Cool spot, because it's in San Diego, right? What kind of spots aren't cool? It's right on a strip. It's really busy. They had good drinks, right? A couple beers. There was a really good cocktail that somebody made that I tried, and it was really good. And the burrito was actually really good, okay? And then so cool spot, good drinks, good burrito. Recommendation, serve verde salsa. They only had red sauce, and I'm pretty sure that's a sin to eat a burrito with. LOL. And I put LOL on that.
See, now, you know me, Ryan. Like, I'm good for coming with the quick, fast, snappy comebacks. Your dad has had a few different things that's happened at work that he's told us about, and I'm like, well, you should have just said this. You know, 'cause it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
You mean I gotta pay you? You know, type of thing. You know, just good witty comebacks. So like, you know, if you should have given an analogy, be like, man, serve me this burrito with this red sauce. That's like saying you want to do anal without lube. Like, you guys just want to bend me over the table right now and just give it to me like that? Like, see, you should have just like ran head first.
I should have went like full blown right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of upset, but that's my food no for me. Burrito, you can serve it with red sauce. I'm cool with that. To each their own, but you got to give me that option.
Andy, do you have any food sin stories? I know I'm just totally dropping this on you. You had no clue that was about to come.
You know,
that's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. Not really that I can think of. There's been times where I've been at restaurants that are, you know, hole in the wall to super fancy in Vegas or wherever we're at. I've eaten at a couple places in Manhattan where, you know, the combo of stuff, I'm like, that doesn't go together, right? I don't like that. Like we were somewhere recently and it was like this peanut butter and jelly burger, but it wasn't like full on like jelly, like, you know, it was just like pickled something like those. No, have a hamburger and have your peanut butter and jelly over there. Those don't go together. But I haven't really been like angry where I didn't have an option. I can't think of anything that stands out.
Okay. Let me ask you both the question in reverse. Something that sounded utterly weird, but ended up being delicious. And I'm gonna throw something out here because it was something that happened when we were like completely inebriated. There's a dive bar down. It's close to where Ryan currently lives, but it's down close to my old house. Actually, it's way closer to my old rental house. There was a dive bar, and me, my wife, and a friend of mine would go there like literally every night. Somehow we became alcoholics for 6 months straight, and there was a thing called sloppy dip. And it was chips. Yeah. Dive bar, sloppy dip, you know? And when you read it, you were like, this thing alone just sounds like the weirdest concoction. And it had like all these different cheeses, which essentially just say queso, but it didn't really taste like queso. It tasted like regular, like it didn't have like the didn't have the polish that queso has, you know, like when you go to a Mexican restaurant. But yeah, it didn't have that smoothness. That's the word. But then they put black beans and something else in it, and I can't remember what the hell that is right now. But here's like it in and of itself is a little weird, right? And then it comes with tortilla chips, and you eat it like a dip. And again, it's like a play, like a dive bar play on queso. It sounds weird. And then I am hammered the one night, and I decide I'm gonna order it with French fries. And the waitress looks at me like I have 6 heads, and I'm like, how is that much like that crazy of an idea? And then we eat it, and we no shit never ever got tortilla chips with that ever again, because it was that freaking good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anybody get
sloppy dip?
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of something else that I won't say.
Well, it's college stories, you know. Anyway, but have you guys have ever had like ordered something that like literally sounded like, again, like Andy said a little bit, right? Like it's the weird concoction of things that you like, I normally wouldn't try that. And somehow you ended up trying it and it was delicious.
I mean, I've definitely done most of that while I've been drinking heavily.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that at one point we went to a bar a long time ago up in like Cave Creek, and they had pickled pig's feet. And no. It wasn't as disgusting as you think it might have been, but it also wasn't good. So it was. I just remember it being very salty, but it wasn't bad. We're like, once you get over the fact that you like, they go into a jar and take a hoof, right? You got this like hoof out, and then like you just bite it. Once you get over that.
Also, I like every single comment you've made. I could just be put like, that's what she said. It was just very, very salty.
It was so very salty. Once you get over the visual part of it, and you're like, okay, the salt hits you like immediately. You're like, it's not as disgusting as I thought it was going to be. So,
I had a buddy of mine. He's been on the show, Sam. Yeah. He's been on the show, and his sister lived over. She lived in France for a long time, but in part of it, I think she lived in China as well. Like, dude, this gal can like speak, I think like 23 different languages. Like, it's ridiculous. Like fluently, not like, I don't think she can speak all 23 fluently. She can speak like 18. It's almost all of them, like completely fluently. It's nuts.
Awesome.
Again, she lived in France for like 3 years, lived in China for a year and a half. But anyway, when she came back from China, she brings this rice grain alcohol, which is like, you would think like vodka and Everclear, like that, like abomination together. And for some reason, you're also supposed to eat chicken feet with it. And I tried this thing, and I don't know if it was a combination of just the horrible alcohol that was like literally stripped every ounce of mucus off of your throat, your tongue, your teeth, and everything down between, or taking a bite out of this chicken foot right afterwards that made me almost vomit.
Gross.
Yeah. I can't say I highly recommend it, guys. Can't say that I do. Okay. Since I don't even know the time on how long this has been going. 34 minutes. All right, let me bring in one more topic then. All right, because I liked Andy brought it up in our Discord a little bit ago, and it's actually relevant to Twitch at least. Okay, and that is does watching people play video games ruin your video game experience? Okay. Like, do either of you feel that way? Because both of you have consumed some Twitch, and as well as been that person that is playing, Yeah. And I'm gonna speak from the outsider, because I used to play games long ago and never have really as an adult, unless it's a racing game. But I would say for me, it definitely doesn't, because I would never play those games. Like, let's say, a game that's so ridiculously intense from gameplay, and I don't even know enough people in order to actually make it work. Like World of Warcraft, right? You had to like be a clan of people to get past certain things, and really, like, I would never ever do that. I'm not gonna put that much time into a game, but I would definitely watch somebody, kill one of those big crazy levels that is totally impossible, that I'm not gonna do all the work. So for me, it definitely doesn't ruin it, but I'm also not the person that would have played it in the first place.
Yeah.
Ryan?
So,
go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
I was gonna say. So I'll elaborate a little bit, because I think you're right. I think the game is the key. So I watched. I have a couple of guys that I watch stream, and one of them recently played this new Resident Evil game that came out. So I played that way back in the day. I thought it was really cool, right? This is, it was a little bit of spookiness and problem solving and puzzles. So I watched him play. Now I watch him play first-person shooter games, Call of Duty, Escape from Tarkov, like some of these other games where there's just this openness to it, right? So you're doing it, even though it might be repetitive, because you're going to do the same thing, you're looting, you're finding stuff. So he played this game that has a storyline, and there is nothing after that. Once you beat it, you beat it. So for me, I watched him play all of it. Like, he did it over 3 streaming sessions. At the end of it, I was like, I watched every second of him play it, because I like him. I think he's very entertaining, but the game was so interesting, and I thought, just well done. I essentially played it. Now, if I watch somebody play Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, I logged a lot of hours on that. It's this immersive storyline, but then once you're done with it, there's this open world, right? You've got this massive and Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto are made by the same developer crew or whatever. So it's just open. You do whatever you want. So for me, those I'm like, all right, I played the storyline. I'll probably never go back to it, but at least I can just roam around. I could do whatever. I could shoot people. I could run people, whatever. With this one, he played it, and I literally sat there and I was like, probably the first 90 minutes, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to get it, right? But then I watched him play over those three separate days, and at the end, I was like, I essentially played the game. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I watched him do it. All the time that he spent doing it, you know, the you died on this level or this
the
part,
difficulties.
yeah. So to me, I'm like, I played it. I don't need to do that. So I felt like, you know, am I gonna prevent myself from watching certain things happen over streaming video games to not ruin a game or to try it out? Because if there's not this immersive like openness to it, I probably would just watch somebody do it and then that's it. Like then I got the full experience that I don't need to actually do it. So
yeah, you save $60.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've ever felt that way because
that's interesting.
Yeah, I've never felt that way because everything is just so open and it's just, you know, even though it's the same map or the same character, the experience is still going to be different, right? I'm still going to go and interact with this or go over here in this point of interest. But that was the first time that I was just like, you know what? I don't need to buy this and play it now.
And I think that's kind of a rarity for games then, don't you think, that are made like that? Because not many games come, at least this is to my knowledge, right? Like so many things are now open world after it because they want people to continuously play the game. They want you to buy this piece. They want you to do that thing. You know, it's not just, they're not just even planning on just the $60. They really want your extended revenue for buying and upgrading and continuing to play the game.
Sure. I mean, you know, there was some stats that came out about Call of Duty, and they made like $1 billion on microtransactions inside of the store, right? So the battle pass and the skins and the guns and all of that. And that is completely separate from people actually buying and paying for the game on whatever platform. So you're right. It's this revenue stream to keep you coming back and back to it, which is genius.
Yeah, it's the membership idea that you guys work so hard on all the time, right? It's the battle pass, right?
That's right.
Yep. Battle pass. That's the membership right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ryan, does it ruin it for you?
No, because I don't ever watch people. But the only way I could like see watching somebody is if there was a really cool game that came out that I was like kind of sketchy on. For example, oh my gosh, what was that one like tech game with like that came out with the guy from oh my gosh, Ryan, this is
not helpful.
Ryan, this is where you make fun of me. The guy from the movie that does a whole lot of killing.
Okay, I'm gonna guess, and you're talking about Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yes.
And yes, Ready Player One.
Yes. Okay, so Cyberpunk. I was really looking into getting that game, and I was like, this game looks amazing, but I didn't want to get it right away because I thought it was gonna be another like Skyfall or whatever that stupid space one is that everybody hated. So, yeah, I just started watching people, and I'm like, their car, for example, their car said they were going like 80 to 130 miles an hour, right? But on their screen, as visual like buildings are passing, it looks like they're going 15 to 30 miles an hour. And I'm just like, this game looks stupid. Yeah. Like Colin said, Bug City, right? Just all over the place. Not worth my money. So I use it more for like just checking things out to see if it's worth my time, and then I'll get it. But I don't ever watch people on Twitch unless I just jump on for 5 minutes and then I'm off if it's a friend or something.
Yeah. So after I went through that experience, I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, you know what? This is really good to check out a game, something that came out that had a bunch of hype around it, to see how good or bad, in this case, it was really, you know, littered with bugs and there were some crappy experiences that a lot of people reported, to really get an idea.
Money back.
They did, which sucked because I was in the same boat, man. I was like, this is really cool. You know, this is going to be awesome. The the details and the openness and all that. But yeah, that's essentially what it's become now. If I'm gonna check out some sort of very specific and story mode game, that I'm only gonna just do it just purely for my interest, because then it saves me the money and the time of buying it, not liking it, and then taking it back.
Yeah, I could watch somebody for 10 minutes and be like, save me an hour going to the store, downloading it, or whatever. But I'm really glad you had that experience, Andy, with that one Resident Evil game, because it sounds really cool. Like if I was really into a game like that, sounds like something really interesting to do.
Yeah, it was a great game, and like I said, I love the little problem solving that you have to do, and the story was fairly cool, but at the end of it, I'm just like, nah. I'm done. I played it, and I invested the time, which I did without not worked, but whatever, it's fine. It's still a good use of my time. So that way, at least I didn't spend the $60. So I felt good about it. But yeah, now I look at this whole streaming video games in a whole new world of like, I could go and it's like this extended movie preview. Am I going to watch this 45 minutes of the movie versus the 2 minutes? And now, do I really like it or not? And then if I do, I'll still invest in it. But now I don't have to, because I played it.
Yeah, well, and newer consoles are coming out, newer PCs are coming out, newer TVs, and this technology is not going down, right? It's all just increasing. And these games are going to be increasing as well, because they have to keep up with the technology. They have to keep up with the 4K, the 240 hertz, the 8K, people are coming out with the 3D stuff, like all this. There's a lot that goes into it, and these VR. $60 games are not going to stay $60 for long. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, like the moment that we actually, like, if you've ever watched the movie Ready Player One and how that VR you actually can live in it and everything, and then you start to talk about NFTs and in the crypto world and everything currently, like now things are actually coming together where we're getting very close to like, oh, it's not just going to be us building a house in Sims just to build the most ridiculous house. Like you'll literally do that in VR, and you can go over to other people's houses, and like you have this artwork, because there's only 50 Mona Lisa digital prints that you can have, and you're the one that's got it. And everybody wants to come over and see it in your virtual world. It's like mind blowing. When you talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate everybody watching, listening to us as always every single Wednesday at about 8 p.m. I'm just gonna say Arizona time, and we post every single week. So appreciate that, and see everybody next week.
See ya.